Blood donation exercises across the country. Nationwide fears of lower rate of voluntary blood donations are attributed to the insufficient level of public awareness on the need to donate blood, the fear of World Blood Donor Day is held on June 14th every year to raise awareness of the need for safe blood and blood products and to thank voluntary unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gift of blood. However, with many people shying away from donating the body fluid, the director spelled out its needs, especially in crucial times, adding that donation was very important to save lives. Asked if blood availability was an issue in the eastern region, he answered in the negative, adding that there was adequate blood at the various blood banks. He, however, added that the situation must be sustained as they need a little bit more to avert any eventualities. The regional director explained that some health facilities occasionally run out of stocks through necessitating the transfer of patients to different facilities. However, relatives of some patients who have encountered difficulties in accessing blood at the Eastern Regional Hospital for treatment for various ailments have shared their frustrations with this portal. One of them, who only gave her name as Margaret, said she was forced to fall on someone to come donate blood for a relative on admission at the facility. Fewer people are reportedly voluntarily donating blood, making it very difficult to get the body fluid to salvage emergency case. Some members of the general public who spoke in an interview expressed their unpreparedness to partake in blood donation exercises to contribute the crucial element to health facilities. Ms. Patricia Nate said they are usually advised at the hospital to donate blood, but she hasn't done so because she fears any effect that she may faint. Asked if she would be willing to donate if she was convinced that she would be given the necessary supplement, she answered in the affirmative. A pastor, Abraham Tay, was only forced to donate blood to his pregnant wife when the need arose. He disclosed that prior to that, he had never done any voluntary donation, describing the practice as improper. The man of God said he can't do it wholeheartedly because through his job, blood donation is improper, but he did it because he found himself in a critical situation. He urged the government to take steps to ensure that the public took steps to ensure that they have enough blood to forestall incidents of blood shortages and the need for the body fluid as soon as possible. Okay, so still on health news, the director for public health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu Bekoy, says Ghana needs to keep observing the COVID-19 prevention protocols and protect themselves for contracting the virus until the nation attains herd immunity. He said this in an interview that although the World Health Organization had declared that COVID-19 was no longer a global health emergency, countries with low population immunity might not be out of the woods yet. Scientists and medical experts have estimated that at least 94% of the population be vaccinated and immune to interrupt the chain of coronavirus transmission. In Ghana, data on the Ghana Health Service COVID-19 update website showed that as of April 30th this year, about 11 million people, representing 57% of the nation's 18.2 million target, have been fully vaccinated. According to the website, a total of 29,941,992 doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered within the same period. Out of that, about 40 million people, representing 74.2% of the 18.2 million target, have received a first dose. Dr. Asiedu Bekwai said to help boost the population's immunity, the Ghana Health Service would in July launch on the mass vaccination campaign to get more persons vaccinated. That is at the end of July. He said the Ghana Health Service was also developing a COVID-19 vaccination integration plan to ensure that COVID-19 vaccination was made part of the routine vaccinations, noting that this means that everyone can walk into a health facility to get a COVID-19 jab. The Director for Public Health encouraged individuals who were yet to be vaccinated against the virus to get a jab, and those who had been vaccinated already to get the booster shot. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in his 29th address to the nation on reasons taken against the coronavirus, reiterated the announcement made by World Health Organization that COVID-19 was no longer a public health emergency of global concern, saying that in other words, they can now breathe that collective sign of relief. According to Dr. Asiedu Bekwai, he said what the president said was that we would no longer focus on having funds to fight the virus, but would rather inculcate treatment of the disease into existing health system. He then advised Ghanaians to keep washing their hands with soap and the running water, as it prevented them from contracting COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. He also urged all to put on a mask when they're in a place with poor ventilation. Okay, so still on health news, the Ministry of Health says it is committed to including mental health treatment in the National Health Insurance Scheme benefit package. Deputy Minister of Health Asei Senu told the public that at the Mental Health Authority Stakeholders Performance Annual Meeting in Accra that very soon mental health treatment will be part of the National Health Insurance Scheme benefit package. Here is what he said.
So I have the belief that the government is committed and we are going to do more funding. We are beginning to look at mental health in relationship with national health insurance. And you see, that's why we brought the National Health Insurance Financial Controller. At the end of the day, they will discuss and see how national health insurance will be collaborated to take care of mental health patients as well. Mental health insurance is going to take care of mental health patients and other activities, so that at least the funding expanding, and with government support and donor support, stakeholder support, philanthropic support, churches and everything, if they all come together, this issue of financial constraints will be
away
easy.
from health, let's do some education. Now, the Educational Minister, Dr. Osei Educhim, says there is the need for a strategic revision of the school curriculum. Speaking at the 30th KYEI Distinction Awards, he said the addition of critical thinking as a subject in second cycle institutions' curricula will ensure progress in the lives of students and the country as a whole. Here is the excerpt of what he said.
The prosperity of our nation depends on a quality education system that calls on our youth to become critical thinkers. But how do they become critical thinkers if the examination regime do not require critical thinking for you to get an A1? A nation's fortune depends upon education. Depends upon education with a foundation in critical thinking. Depends upon education in an environment where students can also suggest ideas and profess solutions to challenges without memorizing facts from the teacher. Our examination system should not be the one that you can pass through memorization. I call upon universities to look at the changing dynamics of tertiary education and begin to take a serious look at the transcript-based. The prosperity of our nation depends on a quality education system that calls on.
So still on the educational front, the Central Regional Education Directorate, Mr. Emmanuel Asuman, says many students abandon school immediately after successful registration and only show up to take the examination, a situation he described as troubling. He said subsequent outcome is that most of the students fail at the end of the examination. The directorate further identified improper time management and an inability to apply critical thinking when among answering questions, and as a reason for the recorded failures in the examination. The Central Regional Director, Emmanuel Suman, says it is appalling and has to be nipped in the bud as soon as possible. Also, the Second Lady for Ghana, Mrs. Samira Baumia, also gave her thoughts as well. Here is the excerpt of what they said.
So they don't learn. Most of them, immediately they register for BECE, they don't attend classes anymore because they have that intention that at the end of the day, they will get some materials to support them go through the examination. So as teachers, we are also, we have realized that there are some little mistakes that they do when they go to the examination room. The understanding of the question and how to apply their thinking skills to answer those questions is a challenge. That's why this initiative has come at the right time so that we take the teachers through.
To help address some of these challenges, the Second Lady of Ghana, Samira Baumia, has extended her Samira Empowerment and Humanitarian Project to the region, beginning from the Fantimam municipality, which is one of the districts which records poor performance in the basic education certificate examination. The project seeks to equip teachers of core subjects, that is English, Maths, Integrated Science and Social Studies, with perfect teaching methods and skills for students who are being prepared for the examination, and is mostly targeted at districts with poor student performance in the final examination. As part of the two-day workshop, teachers were taken through the Chief Examiner's report so they can have a better understanding of the likely factors that affect student performance in the examination. The Second Lady believes the intervention will help improve passing rate of pupils.
In terms of education, we look at how we improve learning outcomes, studying outcomes. And one of the gaps we realized was that in a lot of the districts, the children were not doing well at BECE. But thanks to the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, there's free education. However, it's not everybody who is passing in order to benefit from the free education. So this intervention is supposed to help the pupils to pass their exams by reviewing past questions, chief examiner's comments, and coming together with Ghana Education Service and the instructors to help the teachers guide the students through exam taking. Because if you're not prepared for your exam, you will not know how to answer your questions and pass it. And we want our children to do well.
The Fantimam municipality has not had a steady performance.
So they don't learn. Most of them.
Wet Education is still watching Midday Live. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a lot more for you. Please stay with us.
Wow! Wow! Ejapa travel and tour abalando waba. Munia sepede to kwan kwa brochira sumdwim na inke face problem biara da. Onu hwehwe Ejapa travel and tour na wambo wa ate. Ejapa travel and tour abu bebre ema wokọ abrochir awo me de travel and tour aye bebre e wo manim nanso sisiare sika ho ayeden de minti mama obi in face akwa enda no wa chenchina sepede to kwa European countries nibi to the Italy, Germany, France, Greece, Belgium, Portugal, Canada, Sweden, Spain, Denmark, Austria, even UK and apo the USA in epede kwa Ejapa travel and tour pe in American for wadamo oye easy ma ho kra visa passport na wo papers okeka ho de Ejapa travel and tour bohwe na wa ni nyinara ma kama Ejapa travel and tour di nyipa bebre eko Dubai na Qatar inti sepe house help edwuma ye e wo Dubai na Qatar nkotenza Ejapa travel and tour ba ma edwuma no mpo ebudo ni sentri nyi de Ejapa travel and tour nyi Dubai aban ni edwuma bom de minti one main office kro wo ho inti obi aruntume ye obasabasa sekita wonsa na edwuma bi te mason carpenter electrician painter plumber etc. The country of your choice Ejapa travel and tour bama wedwuma ye na wada atete won kakakra impie na pe benade hwehwe Ejapa travel and tour ho na chirikwan e wo Kaswa Obom Road Great Lamtemil School no opposite wa Fre 0545733578 and also 0504 127697 Ejapa travel and tour yanyu betu kwan asumdwem.
Try and try, you'll succeed at
Watching Media Live with Sarah Che MENSAH led to do some business. Now Thomas Boache, District Chief Farmer of Huni Valley, has appealed to the government and Cocoa Board to increase the price of cocoa this October season. He said the current price, which was about 800,000 Ghana cedis for 64 kilogram bag, was inadequate, making farmers to live in hardships. According to Nana Boache, if the government and Cocoa Board failed to offer cocoa farmers a good producer price, it would threaten cocoa production in Huni Valley as they produced a lot of cocoa for the country. The district chief farmer made the appeal in an interview with selected journalists in the western region of Ghana. He said the high cost of farm input also consumed their profits as well. Nana Boache emphasized that the lives of cocoa farmers and attract many people into the cocoa farming industry. Responding to the request, the head of public affairs at Cocoa Board, Mr. Stephen Fifi Boafo, said they had consistently indicated that the price of cocoa was influenced by what they got from the world market. He said the world market prices over the last 6 years had not been encouraging, but in recent months they have seen an increment. Mr. Boafo said the good news is that when the world market price is increasing, it has direct effect in what farmers will receive when they go to the producer price review committee to determine the price for cocoa farmers. He added that those who feel the price has not been motivating enough, the good news is that the world market price is increasing, so farmers should expect some good news when the producer price review committee meets to determine the price. He said the government, in collaboration with Ghana Cocoa Board and the National Pension Regulatory Authority, was implementing measures to better the lives of cocoa farmers, especially in retirement. He said apart from the introduction of the pension scheme, Cocoa Board were also implementing interventions such as cocoa mass spraying, cocoa rehabilitation, pruning, hand pollination, and highly subsidized fertilizer measures to support cocoa farmers. These, Mr. Boafo said, come at a huge cost to the government, hence the need to safeguard the future of the cocoa industry by eradicating illegal mining. He therefore called on cocoa farmers to resist any attempt by illegal miners to convince them to sell off their land, as it would deprive them of their lifetime investment. Okay, so meanwhile, the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Ghana, popularly known as GOCMAG, has called on cement manufacturers and producers to at all times comply with the tax obligations as required in law. That Dr. George Dawson Amoa, the Chief Executive Officer of GOCMAG, said in an interview that the laws of Ghana required compliance with tax and statutory payments and obligations by all registered businesses in Ghana. He said fulfilling such legal obligations were important for ensuring adequate government revenue, promoting the integrity of the tax system, and maintaining economic stability. Dr. Dawson Amoa said non-compliance constituted criminality and unfair practice, and that persons found culpable would be liable to prosecution by the relevant state authorities. He said GOCMAG continued to uphold ethical practices and compliance with tax laws in its operations. GOCMAG was not constituted to condone or connive with such malpractice and would not support any member or non-member found culpable. Dr. Dawson Amoa therefore called on cement distributors to demand the appropriate tax receipt whenever purchase transactions were effected. The chamber, he stated, would collaborate with the Ghana Revenue Authority and other relevant authorities to reinforce strict compliance as soon as possible. Okay, so away from that, the Minister for Roads and Highways, KYEI Amoako-Atta, said there will be expansion on the motorway very soon, according to KYEI Amoako-Atta. Last year's project will be starting very, very soon. So he's actually urging all citizens of Ghana to just calm down, because very soon most of the roads in Ghana will start with their works. Here is the excerpt of what he said as well.
How this route joins the motorway. We have a motorway expansion project going to start very soon. What we have here is a runabout, and we have slip roads, that's a merging lane and a diverging lane to the motorway. And we also have a link to our road, that's the 5.8 kilometer road, and also another one to the Botiman community, which joins the road to the affordable housing. As we speak, we have done about 70% of the original work, and the contractor is fast working. Asphalting is going on the main road, and we are doing the merging and diversion as we speak right now. So everything is on course, and we are very happy with the progress of work so far.
The sector minister, KYEI Amoako-Atta, known for warning contractors against shoddy jobs with threats of cancelling such contracts, was happy with the work done by the Ghanaian construction firm Oswald Investments Limited. He hinted, without specific timelines, that the motorway expansion project will commence soon.
Later we come to the site of Oswald Construction, it's full of joy and smiles, because it's one of the competent and efficient contractors that we have in this country. And you can see it for yourself, the good work that he has been doing on this stretch of road from School Junction, the road which we refer to as the Botiman road. Is working very, very fast, and this project will be in place far, far ahead of even the completion of the stadium to host the All African Games next year. But this road is key to us, very, very important. The director, indicated that since it's entering the motorway, we have to be very careful because the motorway itself will soon go under construction. Okay, very, very soon. You know, the motorway, everybody knows, you know, is not in good shape, and government has plans, you know, to start work on it, and that will be pretty soon. But in order not to do double work, we have to be sure that all safety concerns, you know, are taken care of. Where we are standing, you know, where the road joins the motorway, when the motorway rehabilitation itself starts, there's going to be an interchange here, you know, to serve Committee 18 and the neighboring communities. Because between Tema and Accra, on the 19.5 kilometer stretch of the motorway itself, we are going to have as many as 4 interchanges. You know, so we have to visit the ongoing projects from time to time.
While expressing confidence in the increased competence of Ghanaian contractors, KYEI Amwakwata disclosed that the motorway expansion projects will be done jointly by local and foreign contractors to foster knowledge transfer.
The motorway project is a bit complex, you know. At the appropriate time, you know, it will be addressed. But definitely we are making efforts that wherever, you know, local contractors have to play their role, definitely they will do that. Even where we see that there are complexities in any road production, we always make sure that even if it's a foreign contractor, you know, that contractor partners, you know, the local, you know, contractors for what we call transfer of technology to them. And I can tell you, for the past 6-7 years, the capacities of local contractors have been built so much by this government that virtually they can do everything. But because we want the best, wherever we have to join both local and foreign contractors, why not? You know, we will do that. It's just like, you know, playing the organ. You know, the white keys alone can give you music. The black keys can give you music. But if you want melodious music, you combine the two.
On the return of toll booths, the roads minister has this to say.
You see, in this country, people have the impression that, you know, the toll system is abolished forever. It's not. You know, tolling at the appropriate time, you know, will be reintroduced. The finance minister made it clear in his budget statement. Okay, but tolling will come in a different form, you know, from what it used to exist. You know, if we have to build toll booths now, like this motorway, we have a tolling system in it. It will come with a proper toll booth being built, you know, and we are going to make sure that as much as possible the human element is reduced to the, you know, barest minimum. You know, so it will come at the right time. And there are a number of highways in this country that are going to be built, that the tolling system might be introduced. But it will come at the right time with the right tools, you know, to ensure that we get.
Okay, so let's end midday news away to an international story. A revolt by the Wagner force in Russia poses a diplomatic quandary for Mali and Central Africa Republic. CAR forces from the mercenary group have played an increasingly central role in long-running internal conflicts as the Wagner fighters barreled towards Moscow on Saturday after seizing a Felton city overnight. Spokespeople for the government of Mali and Central African Republic declined to comment on the turmoil and how it might affect their security strategies against armed groups. Both countries have sought closer ties with Russia and military support to battle the armed fighters, saying in the past that their military cooperation agreements are with Russia rather than with Wagner. Mali, where military authorities seized power in coup in 2020 and 2021, is battling a years-long operation against armed groups affiliated with ISIL and Al-Qaeda. It has said Russian forces there are not Wagner's mercenaries but trainers helping local troops with equipment brought from Russia. But the alliance said assured relations with the United Nations and alienated Western powers who have said the fighters are Wagner forces and have alleged that they have committed possible war crimes alongside Malian soldiers. The government in Mali and Russia have denied the allegation. Wagner's continued presence in Mali amid the continuing insurrection in Russia would prove problematic for Bamco's relations with Moscow, which last year committed to send Mali shipments of fuel, fertilizers, and food worth about $100 million US, according to the U.S. National Security Council. While 80% of its troops in Ukraine were withdrawn from prisons, it was stated that Wagner was affected in Russia's alleged capture of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region. Wagner has also sent fighters outside Ukraine to various conflicts in the Middle East and Africa, including the war in Syria. The group has cemented strong ties with several African governments over the past decade, with operators in at least 8 African nations, according to the leaked U.S. document. Okay, so that's it with international news, and that's how we wrap up on Midday News right here on BH Television. My name is Sarah MENSAH. Thanks so much for watching Midday Live. Continue to take good care of yourself out there. On behalf of BHTV, we say have a great afternoon.
BHTV Ghana, beyond your expectations.